Yeah, how you guys been doing? You chilling?
Yeah.
I'm chilling, yeah.
All right.
Where you guys based in again? What part of the country?
I'm from the East Coast, like Boston, Massachusetts area.
Hey, what up? What up?
The Departed, nigga.
I almost was in that movie.
Really?
Yeah,
Wait, what?
I auditioned when I was like 10 to play like Leonardo DiCaprio as a kid. And like,
No way.
yeah, I did. It was cool. Yeah.
Honestly, I think that might be my favorite modern day Scorsese. It's so fucking fun.
I can't take it seriously because nobody can like do the accent right other than Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, is that,
Like
yeah,
Leo-
no, it's a comedy film. I love it.
It depends.
Like Leo's just like yelling that whole movie.
I'm racist. See, this is how I know I'm racist. I have trouble following the plot of that movie because I can't tell who's who. I'm like, wait, Mark, and there's always the double, like they're double ages. So I'm like, wait, is Mark? I mix up like the Matt Damon and DiCaprio.
I mean, they're all
the same to
basically
me.
the same guy. Like, you know.
Yeah,
I love
everything's the
this
same to me,
damn
so.
Jack Nicholson. That Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, it's just him like
Oh,
saying
yeah.
slurs for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, this is what the niggers don't understand.
Yeah, he's walking through like a garage or something for no reason. Like just walking through a garage talking about like the 70s and like segregation and Kennedy and shit.
Yeah. Legendary.
I've never seen like the original. I've never seen the original movie, but like it's in like Chinese or something. I bet it's like even more racist.
Oh yeah,
The Japanese movie?
Affairs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
I've
based
heard
on
it
that,
better.
right?
I've heard it's way better.
I
Really?
mean, that's what everybody says, but
Yeah, everyone sort of I like that's sort of
Yeah,
like
that's
the book is better kind of take, you know.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
people say about like Old Boy. They're like, oh yeah, the Korean one's better than the Brolin one, but that's obviously bullshit.
excuse me.
I think
Sorry,
it's like the worst movie I've ever seen. Is like the Spike Lee remake.
You watched it? I couldn't watch that.
I mean, I
couldn't-
watched like about 45 minutes of it, and I'm like, all right, we're done. We're done.
I've
here
never
with
seen
this.
either.
Like, he's kind of a.
You haven't seen the
he's kind
Korean
of a
one?
fucking retard.
I haven't seen either.
The Korean
yeah.
one's good.
I haven't seen the Korean one
You
or
gotta
the
watch-
original one or
You gotta
the
watch
remake.
the Korean one. You gotta watch the Korean one. That one's fire. That one's really good.
Yeah, it's real good.
It looks wild. I fuck with them Asian films.
Yeah.
Man, this is wild. Man, we just beating those guys with a hammer. That shit wild, man.
It's
Oh,
a good
man.
incest flick. If you're into that.
I would pay to watch like an old ass black guy just go through the Criterion collection.
That girl
almost
was
made me spit out my beer.
that girl was who?
That ain't right. They got like Sallow, 100
Yeah.
Sodom. Like, what the fuck's the Sodom?
Why you shitting that?
So I'm at Slavoid T.
All right, this is Shit Spouter 37.
This is black.com pilled.
This is the Fed Post.
Wait, Kodak, are you actually a Negro? Or
Yes. Yeah, I'm like,
Hey, what up, King?
thank you.
I don't think anybody's asked that in like 50 years, like in that exact way. Like, are you a Negro? Like, are you one of them?
Netscape,
Yes, I'm from the Negroid persuasion.
Myself as well. Yeah. I saw it in the name. Do you want to go by Netscape or Kodak or Negro or?
I don't mind. My real name is Cole. Yeah, whatever you guys want. Whatever works best for you guys.
I could have you go by Negro. I don't think that'll be great.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably going to be the most comfortable for me, to be honest.
That's fine. Hey, whatever works.
You know,
The name's at DustinTL on Twitter.com, and you can find me also on the Crypto Degenerates podcast on SoundCloud. We're going to probably spread it to other platforms, but right now we're kind of on hold, so look forward to that, I guess.
No,
I
go ahead.
still haven't seen as far as Scorsese. I haven't seen Irishman yet.
Irishman's pretty good.
I fuck with it. It's,
Yeah, I like
it's a
that.
good Like
It's all
it's a
right.
good like Sunday watch.
It's long as fuck though, right? It's
It
like
is.
4 hours.
Yeah. It's like 3.5 hours.
I remember watching it last year, like in like 3 separate sittings, and like the middle one, I was like turkey coma because it was like a holiday season release.
Yeah, it did come out
And so,
like right around. I think it came out like Thanksgiving weekend.
That's
It was
how
like the day
marketed,
before
yeah.
Thanksgiving because I like went out with family and like they were all talking about it because they had seen it.
Right.
it
It's
was
like
pretty
marketed
good.
for the holidays and all that for like Goodfellas. They always play like Goodfellas on Thanksgiving and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That fucking movie
Yeah, it feels-
bummed
it
me
feels
out.
like the
It's
only-
all these
the
people
only
are gonna
movies you can
literally
see.
die.
The only movies you can see on like cable television on around that time is like the Star Wars prequels and fucking Goodfellas.
That sounds pretty good to me.
Right.
Yeah,
Here, hold on.
I fuck with that. What else has he done recently?
The Silence, like that.
Silence, yeah. I heard that,
That was good.
bad. I didn't
I
watch
haven't-
it.
I haven't seen it. I'm not too big into like theology kind of movies. Like I saw Monks and I was like, that might have to be like a middle of the day kind of watch. You know,
Yeah,
don't want to fall. Oh, he did Hugo.
nobody gives a fuck about Hugo.
That was
Yeah,
that animated.
was that
flick,
based
right?
on a book? Yeah,
It
it was
feels like Spielberg like leaned in his ear and was like, "Can you just do this? I've done enough of these fucking movies." You know?
It was like the fucking Midnight Express shit, right? Or it's
Yeah.
like fuck that. It's like really CGI.
Yeah, he did the Wolf. I fuck with the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, the movie opens like with like ass eating and like doing lines off like an ass. And dude was like 70 when he made it, so it's like
Yeah.
that's awesome, man.
It goes
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, my girlfriend fell asleep when I watched it. I was like, "You missed the best," but she fell asleep right before the Quaalude scene.
How do you fall asleep in that movie? That movie's like on coke.
Right.
Like,
It was
the
at
energy
like
it had.
3 a.m. and I was like, "How?" She
Oh,
she
okay.
fell. She picked the best movies to fall asleep to 3 a.m. She fell asleep to Heat like right before the.
Yo, honest, I'll be real. I didn't like Heat. Like I just saw that. Like I tried to rewatch it recently, and I was like, it's too much dialogue. It's too much like him, some guy and some girl talking, and it's like some somber music, and it's like
I mean, that's true. That is
that
true.
was
I
like
can see
back
that.
to back scenes like that. I was like, yo, what the fuck am I watching? I thought I was watching a De Niro Scorsese shit. Like what is this? Like
Yeah,
Right.
it does get marketed as like a Scorsese joint, and it's much more like in between the action scenes. It's very mellow.
right.
What are we talking about here?
Heat.
Heat.
Oh, Heat fucking rules, man.
That
Really?
LA shootout with Val Kilmer in the suit goes crazy. Oh my god, dude!
Have you seen Val Kilmer now? He looks fucking horrible.
He looks like the
He
fucking
fell
Crypt
off.
Keeper.
Yeah,
He looks like a Native American grandmother.
like someone ate Val Kilmer.
I mean, he had cancer. Like, it's really awful, but like, I just don't get how that like particularly happens like that way.
One last job before my people.
First POC
Yeah, it's pretty-
Batman.
Oh, for sure.
Wait, who did Heat? Oh, that's Michael Mann.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Michael
like his.
Mann rocks.
Wasn't it like his first? Like that was like his first feature film. Cause he done like a couple of like small like direct to video joints. They did. Miami
Nah,
Vice.
nah. He's really
Manhunter,
into
yeah.
the early 80s.
I always forget that he did Manhunter.
Thief, Manhunter, Heat.
Yeah, Thief rocks.
Collateral. I like Collateral. I've seen that one. Collateral.
I've never seen. I don't think I've seen any of his movies other than Heat and the Miami Vice remake.
Oh, he did The Insider. I like The Insider.
I just
With
watched
Russell
that like
Crowe.
last week. That movie is really good.
Yeah, it was really good.
It's like 3 hours of like drama about like the tobacco industry, which you'd think would be like really fucking boring, but like he somehow just like makes that
Yeah.
like riveting.
Yeah.
Damn, he did Last of the Mohicans. Fuck. I
Yeah,
guess he
that
sort of
movie's pretty
mixed it
good.
up a little bit. He did Hancock. Nah.
He did what?
Google's
didn't.
fucking results got me. He produced Hancock. Fuck you, Google, saying he directed Hancock. Like, get out of
Wait, was
here.
Will Smith? Will Smith?
I was-
Step
yeah,
down.
he produced it. He didn't.
Okay.
fucking-
Nah, no way he directed that.
That's a
Yeah, I was
curveball. I'm
gonna
like,
say,
what? Oh my god, that's one of those movies. Oh my god, man. The worst thing is the movies I've seen that I'm just like, why the fuck did I watch that shit? Like that, yeah, Hitchcock and like, yeah, I definitely saw that in theaters.
Yeah,
There's
Will
so many
Smith had
movies
some
you have to go.
stinkers in the middle of the like the early 2000s. He had like
Yeah.
like I Am Legend, which I don't really fuck with. Like I get people like it, but it just feels like there was so many movies like that came out like right around that year where it was like a post-apocalypse, but it was like a very boring post-apocalypse. Like
I think
like Book of Eli.
Yeah,
Oh,
Book of
yeah,
Eli,
yeah.
and I Am Legend,
Denzel
and like
Washington.
The Road.
The Road,
The Road, which I guess people
Every movie
like,
after
like
9/11 was like a miserable, like yellow and brown, like slog. Like that's like what just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
and
I think
every
the
action
Mist-
movie was like, it's the most badass troop you've ever seen.
Like, which is cool for like horror movies and shit, because like nobody was like taking them seriously in the 90s, and then like 9/11 and Columbine happened and shit, and then just like all of a sudden like every movie is fucking hostile. It's just like, oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, I fuck with some 2000s horror. I fuck with a lot of
Devil's
people give it shit
Rejects.
because it was like it's like formulaic or like low budget or whatever, and then you have these like psychological horror elitists that are like, you know, Midsummer is the greatest fucking horror movie of all time or whatever.
I still haven't seen that one. I keep
I don't-
seeing Liz
I don't
talk
fuck
about it.
Any of that
It's
shit.
fine.
to be honest.
I saw bits of it, and it's like, from what I could gather, it's just like women being gaslit for like 3 hours, and
Oh,
yeah, like,
no.
I need to see
can't
someone
that.
get sawed in half. I need to see someone get cut in
there's
half.
some graphic shit like that, but like they kind of space it out, and then they're just like, what if you're like a woman and like your boyfriend was just kind of a dick to you, and then you like went on a vacation and you got to like maybe make some decisions that might end his life.
Yeah.
It's matriarchy horror, which personally is my nightmare. But
they
Yeah.
got the day dudes stop rocking.
they stop rocking, all right. But
I mean, it's just The Wicker Man, if we're being honest. Like everybody says
I
that, but it's like
I
it
haven't
really
seen either of the Wicker. I haven't seen the original one or the Nicolas Cage one.
both are good, unironically.
That's fair. I mean, shit. Like, I saw the Nostalgia Critic review. This is gonna date me as like a Zoomer, but I saw the Nostalgia Critic review of the fucking Nicolas Cage Wicker Man, and it looked fun.
I mean, it doesn't make you a Zoomer. When I was younger, like that dude was on YouTube like all the fucking
Sure.
time. Like it forced you to watch it.
Yeah, practically. Like, it's almost like embarrassing because like when you're a kid, that shit's cool, and then you realize like, oh, these are like 30-year-old men playing like dress up to review cartoons. Which
what,
then
like,
sort of like
basically.
like ties into it ties into like politics and like the Marvel and like ratification of like everything. Everything's like soft
Pretty much.
and for like kids, but it's like it's turning adults into children.
everything is YA now.
Exactly.
What's YA? What?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
shit,
like young adult, like Harry Potter and shit.
Yeah, like young adult.
Oh,
fiction.
young adult. Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
it became like a cliche to make fun of like the Harry Potter stuff, but that's like part and parcel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, why
everybody.
authors been getting uppity recently? They like there was like that thread a while ago, like that woman who wrote like fucking like Dungeons and Dragons fan fiction, and she was like, we should stop teaching kids Moby Book and like teach Moby Dick and teach kids my
Moby
books
Book.
instead. Moby Book.
Dude, Melville has had it too good for too fucking long. Well, all these fucking people, like honestly, like all of these people that are just in like childhood development, like education shit, YA, are just fucking deranged fucking weirdos.
Yeah,
Fact.
Like,
Yeah.
my partner works at a daycare, and
so you know,
She had to do-
they're a sicko.
yeah, she's doing her woke training right now, and
Oh.
part of her woke
Oh, yeah.
training is like watching an episode of The Big Bang Theory.
Oh. wait. How so? What do you mean?
It's modern minstrelsy.
It's literally to like learn how to talk to people. They have to watch like sitcom. Like,
But
to
that's
learn
not how
to
people
to, like,
talk, though.
It's exactly that's how like HR departments think people talk. Is it's like they have
Have
to.
you seen like what a sitcom sounds like without the laugh track? It's like watching
It's insane.
aliens like impersonate people.
yeah.
It's really creepy. Like,
Yeah, they had to watch
Damn,
an
that's
episode of
trippy
Big
as
Bang
fuck.
Theory, and I think everyone loves Raymond. Or
Like, here's a couple of staples of American culture for you.
Right. This is how the humanoids speak. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
it was,
honey.
and then it was like you can't point out the differences. It was very like dumb, like fucking you can't acknowledge that racism exists kind of shit. Like you
Yeah,
have
no.
to pretend that like everyone's the same, and like which is fine, I guess, for like, you know, teaching kids not to be racist. But then it's like that just instills into them that like it's like the participation trophy shit, you know?
yeah.
Yeah. It's just like why are you teaching? Why is that in the curriculum? Shouldn't they learn that from life? Shouldn't like
Exactly.
walking around and experiences teach you that shit? Why do you need to like why do you got to watch The Big Bang Theory? That's torture. That's fucking bleak.
Yeah.
Man.
Is the Big Bang Theory like propped up as like a positive or negative example?
I'm not sure. I didn't really get the context for it. She just texted me. She's like, I'm watching The Big Bang Theory for work, and I was like, fucking why? And then
I mean, isn't that show just like a bunch of gay guys living with a chick whose like cleavage is out all the time? Like, isn't that the premise?
They're all nerds. Yeah.
it's
Slav,
like
Slav, that's bleak. That's really bleak if they're watching Big Bang Theory. Like, all right, this is what not to do because these guys
it's
are
what
fucking
pedophiles
toxic.
think that adult autists are like.
I mean, to be honest, I would imagine they are watching it like to be like it's bad because
It's like a minstrel show for adult
No,
autists.
exactly.
Literally, it's like, everyone wears fucking like faded Hot Topic Flash t-shirts and jeans and shit, and then they speak in like pop culture references. It's literally like Blackish for nerds.
young Sheldon gets into Nick Land and acceleration.
I'd watch that. That'd be great.
Have you seen these statistics?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
young Sheldon calls
it's been
Penny a roasty.
oh, that'd be what a world it would be.
Yeah, then maybe I might actually
Young
watch
Sheldon
yeah.
fucking measures the
Skull.
what the fuck is the Indian guy's name? Because they have the Indian guy who's like, I feel bad for that guy because he's like, I've seen him talk in real life and he doesn't have that accent, but they have to make him do like the Indian voice.
I don't know. I'd fucking eat that up. That's fun. Maybe I'm just like saying that because I'm white, but
Oh yeah, no, it must be.
it's a fun fucking
It must
voice.
be
You know?
fun to like the first time, but like damn, like having to do that shit like 100 times. Like I had that tweet where it was like, you're fresh out of acting school and like you've just mastered like Shakespeare or whatever, and then like some fucking shitty producer is like, all right, we want you to talk like a fucking like
Cab driver.
Well, I think that's like that exact kind of thing is also why now that everything is YA now, you get all these people that just like insist that like children's entertainment possesses this fucking profound deepness to it.
Oh yeah, it's like the Steven Universe effect almost. Like it's like every.
If I ever watch Steven Universe,
I still don't get what they think it's gonna do exactly. Like what is someone gonna like? Is it gonna? There's like no evidence that like consuming media in that way actually like transforms your like ideas and views on the world like enough to like mean anything, like maybe like in very minuscule ways, but like not enough that it's like worth like making your whole like career and livelihood around that idea. I just don't get it.
Exactly. And it's like, if I was a kid, I would probably, because like I grew up and like every kid hates Barney. Like if you put that like cutesy fucking woke stereotype out there that really doesn't exist for like the vast majority of people, that like it only exists if you're like a fucking like white male podcaster from Brooklyn that gets people fired for N-word tweets. Like you're gonna grow up to like hate that stereotype, and then you're just gonna have like you're gonna have a new form of like anti-woke kids.
Yeah.
Even now, like I remember like vaguely, I mean, like I'm 26 and I remember being in school and getting like vaguely progressive things and just like people just instinctively wanting to say shit contrary to the teacher, just like talking themselves into just being little fucking racists. You know what I mean?
Oh
like,
yeah, I did. Fuck, dude, I'm black and I did that shit. Like
100%. Like people hate it.
Yeah, it's edgy and it's rebellious. It's like, yeah, the Zoomers are splitting into the Radlibs or Groyper. I mean, it's really your only.
Yeah,
that's
and
kind of
both are
depressing.
equally scary here. Yeah, like those fucking TikTok teens that are like canceling each other for like wearing dresses and shit. That shit terrifies me.
Oh yeah, they're horrifying.
Talking about how Bong Joon-ho is a fucking racist.
Yeah, or like wait.
I need the context to that, please.
This broad is like Bong Joon-ho is making this. Oh man, I feel fucking stupid even describing it. He's making this movie for an international audience, and so he portrays violence in a particularly Asian way. I don't know what that means.
What does it mean?
And it builds up.
Oh, yo! I saw that Gay Stepdad posted that. It was like this girl was like, she did this TikTok where she's just explaining like, the perpetual imposter syndrome.
I love gay stepdads. Like, do you ever feel like silly saying people's like Twitter names out loud?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, fella.
Yeah, so gay stepdad yesterday was like talking to like Kim Possible facts and like just fucking I don't know.
No, it was like some vid where
Makes you sound insane.
Yeah, like
No,
the
I'm like
Asian...
trying to. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm trying to explain to like people I know in real life, like about, like, oh, I'm really excited. We got to talk to Bog Beef and Marek, and pretty soon we're gonna be talking to Skiddly Bop and Pickup Sticks, and it's like, it's kind of
like a Joe Biden anecdote.
Listen,
Yeah, when's Corn Pop coming on?
Yeah, we're hoping to get Cinema Robert on, but you know, he was fully booked, so we got Dustin and Kodak.
oh my god, dude. If we could get Movie Bob on,
Movie Bob, yeah.
I would be so happy, man.
When he was getting dunked by Lindsay Ellis, it was like the biggest like in like the two halves of like fucking Brett Tube or whatever were like fighting over that shit. That was like hilarious.
Fucking
I mean, they don't like him
War.
because he says what
Really?
they're thinking out loud.
No, exactly.
Exactly,
He's the personification of the shit lib heart in all of them, and he just says these insane. Dude, I don't know about you guys, but like I will just every once in a while see like a screen cap of a Movie Bob post and just like be just shocked all over again.
Yeah,
just the shit.
it's
that
sort
comes
of
out
charming. He's like a really fun character.
Yeah,
This is the
every
quiet
once
part
in a
out
while,
loud.
I have to like remind myself that he legitimately got like he tried to cancel me because he said, or he tried to like get mad at me by saying that brunch was a slur to women and gay people because they eat brunch or some shit. And it's like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, I'm just having this like I'm just having the fucking like live action reboot Grimace call me a fucking racist right now.
Yeah.
Nathan J. Robinson is Ronald McDonald and Movie Bob is the Grimace.
Yeah, how self-righteous he is always so funny. Just like that Avi, like the glasses, just him thinking he's just like, you know, fighting crime online or something, like with the discourse policing, like that.
Right, getting called a Nazi by the guy who just said that we should like gas poor people.
Oh yeah, it's always fun. Yeah,
How old
he's
is he,
like,
by the way?
Oh, he's old
probably in
as
his
shit.
40s.
He's got to be 40, yeah.
Dude, even if he's not old, it would be like
He's like
if he died,
YouTube.
fucking yeah. He's like he kind of goes back.
He's pretty good.
No, but Movie Bob is legitimately like in his 50s, I think, and he still lives with his parents.
He's
No,
39,
he's not
so-
in his 50s. Come on.
It says 39.
He's 39.
Well, it's like
he looks so aged like shit.
So
It's
is
a
he,
Charlie Parker type deal where like when he dies of a fucking heart attack, they'll cut him open and be like, this is the inside of a 120-year-old man.
Like,
Yeah.
like look at this man. I'm sorry, this is like a fucking 10-year-old picture, and this looks like a picture like that you would see of like Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm gonna post it in the chat.
So Slav, you're saying he's like Bugman, right? So is he like
Yeah, Bob Shipman is a baseball player. No.
does he like love like all the Marvel movies? Yeah, yeah. Is he that type of dude? Like, is that kind of the film critic? Is he like,
Yeah,
oh, this is an amazing movie?
he's a massive sort
Yeah,
of.
he's a dude who thinks like any Disney product is like saving like Western civilization.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh boy.
Yeah, he said that like I think he had a take recently that like NASA needs to look to like fucking Marvel for an inspiration for like the Mars landing or whatever because
my
they need to follow like the hero fucking structure or whatever to the moon landing because or for the next like Mars landing because we need a dub basically.
I just know him because he like quote tweeted me and he was mad at me about some Trump shit or whatever, but I didn't really know who he was. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? But that really completes the whole picture for me.
He's a freak. He's like old internet too. He was like on like Screw Attack and shit, and then he moved to YouTube, and then he moved to like it's like an IMDb contributor now or some shit.
He was on like Escapist for a while, and I think they actually just fired him.
He's got tits in this picture. He looks like Bob from Fight Club. He looks like the dude from Fight Club with tits.
He does look like Bob.
Yeah.
no.
He put the chip in Chipman.
Bob's bitch tits.
See, this is the perfect thing. Okay, this is the perfect thing to talk about as far as like, okay, the whole like Marvelization of movie and Disneyfication, right? So he's the guy. He's the poster child. Yeah, just that picture alone just really sums it up. Like, but you know what? I haven't really noticed much woke shit in a lot of like the Marvel. I mean, what? So they'll do like Wonder Woman or whatever, which was a horrible. I walked out of that movie, but like you know, as far as like the other, don't ask me why I was there. It was for somebody else.
It's okay. I mean,
It's mostly like a marketing gimmick. Like
it's much more marketing. Exactly.
It's to be like, okay, well, we're gonna do this thing, and if it flops, we now have like a reason like why it flops, and it's because you're a racist, like sexist. And it's like they can use it as an excuse.
They said that about Little
like,
Women, right? Little Women, they were like, "Yo, it's not popping because men are sexist or whatever," right?
Exactly.
There's like 7 Little Women movies over
like,
the last 100 years.
honestly, no, they said that shit about Captain Marvel, which was like their first like women movie, and they basically went hard into like the Hillary 2016 playbook, which was like, we are going to like get a bunch of like women shills basically to put the idea out through like social media that this is like the women movie. This is the women movie. If you don't see this,
the movie where she's like an F-22 fighter pilot that like bombs like Iraqi babies.
The movie got money from the CIA to like be like an army tool.
Which movie is this?
It's so funny.
Captain Marvel.
Oh,
It has like an army recruitment ad like built into the movie. This is the only Marvel movie that I never saw.
Disney like uses the military like basically like they'll have them for like their movie productions and shit. Like they'll use their resources and whatnot, which is like really interesting.
Yeah, they have like
shit.
like part of like our tax dollars literally go to Marvel movies. Like
holy shit.
Between the like the Fed budget that they have for like funding movies, and then also like if you live in Georgia, like they get a movie, they give like a film credit basically, like a deductible.
Whoa.
So like a certain amount of the money gets paid by the state, and that's why you see like if you look at the credits of any of these movies, it says like shot in Georgia. Even though the movie will be like taking place in San Francisco, they'll just recreate San Francisco on like a green screen in Georgia because they'll like Georgia will pay them to put their movies there.
What?
Yeah.
What? Yo, that's crazy.
And isn't it like common knowledge like the
dollars,
CIA is involved in like most Hollywood scripts on like some level?
Yeah, Iron Man was literally like rewritten by the CIA. I like was tempted to do a Medium article about this, but like because I looked at the list of like films that were like either like partially written by or like they have a media lead. The CIA has like an entire division that is just Hollywood ambassadorship, which sounds like the most like fucking like pedo ass shit, but they have like an entire like division that's just like their movie people basically, and they like rewrite scripts and they give money to these like productions that like the Transformers movies and fucking like the Marvel films, and yeah, it's insane. I'm gonna actually find a list. Top Gun was a big one.
Well,
the Transformers movies are basically like the CIA helping like robots. Like that's like the plot, basically.
That's like John Turturro's character in the first.
Yeah, it's funny.
In the he's like literally
he's a lovable goof. He's not like an evil like piece of shit, you know.
Yeah, he's the FBI guy that gets like peed on by a Transformer, and he's like, "Oh, you!"
To be fair, he gets fired for like being too like crazy, and so like that makes sense since he's actually not like a crazy psychopath.
There's movies, there's TV shows. I'm looking at like a list right now.
Oh, bro, Jack Ryan with Jim from The Office, where he's basically like, you know, the CIA is like super cool for real.
The American is like
I don't think that propaganda works though. Like, I just really don't think it works. I think most people are like distrustful of like the government on some level.
It's masturbatory, right? Because like libs watch it, and then libs are like, "Oh, I love Jim," and I'm like, "I also love the CIA." So it's kind of like, you know, it's just already like jerking off what you already believe.
Yeah,
I don't think it works on television as much because people don't consume television like that. Like they've tried to bridge the gap between like the way that people consume television and the way people consume movies. But I feel like movies work more as like appealing to like a very pro-government audience than television. Or at least television is more like either it's simultaneously more subtle because you'll have movies that like The Fucking Americans, which is like written by a CIA agent, but it portrays itself as this like, ooh, like you know, USSR covert operatives have lives too and shit like that. And then it's like doing like fucking like you know, Cold War apologia.
Right.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, I believe it. I mean, what there used to just be that whole like communist McCarthyism, like paranoia of like in Hollywood, and I guess that would be more overt censorship. But this is a little bit more subtle because it's not censorship. It's just like you don't really get greenlit until you say what we want you to say. So it's kind of more subtle. It's a little bit less overt, which is
it's like enforcing the parameters. I think that to the extent that like I guess I don't even know if at this point it would be like best described as propaganda, but I almost just think that like to the extent that propaganda is effective, it like
fucking Star Trek was funded by the U.S. government. Sorry.
Hell, well, that's kind of of sick actually. But like, I mean, fun, like helping fund movie projects isn't like a new thing necessarily.
No, not at all. No, it's been going on since like the 70s.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I mean, like it's all over the fucking world. But like, to the extent that like propaganda is like actually effective, I don't think like when you start to get to some like really abstract ideas, like even just like ways of conceiving of identity and shit like that, like I don't think that shit's gonna really fucking stick, right? Like that kind of propaganda. No, I think like literally just like subtle shit of just kind of like of just like little kid looking at like, oh, person looks at other person and like, you know, just basic fucking shit, right? Like I don't, the idea that it's like, you know, it's a high concept shit. The way they're talking about like tropes for like progressive stuff of like, you know, your kid's gonna see that there's only X number of black man small business owners and this, like they're not thinking on that fucking level. No one is.
No. I think
even the right wing one where it's like, oh, they're gonna fucking, you know, see a trans superhero and become trans, like all that, you know, this is the thing. I don't think that like, I don't think the propaganda is so like, I don't think that's the big thing. I don't think that there's like, we want you to take this message and this subliminal messaging in the credits and you'll get it. Like I think the big thing is like the cultural impact of like, you know what I mean? Like whenever I watch Marvel movies, I feel like I have ADHD. The way they do like cuts, way they do cuts and they tell jokes, it's like, I'm like, yo, what the like, yo, like it's too fast. And I feel like a boomer. I'm like, yo, you got to chill the fuck out. Like it's too crazy. It's like, it's too fast and it's too like, it's very cheap. And
it's like, it's like about to become fucking like YouTube vloggers where like you can't get through one sentence without like two cuts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's consumer brain shit.
It's almost like, it's like you have to be pointed at, like it's a very like subtle sort of like insanity where you have to be pointed it out. Because I used to watch all these fucking movies like up until, you know, 3 or 4 years ago. I like just fucking uncritically consumed all this shit. And then like now, like when my parents put that shit on, it's literally like it's nauseating how fucking quick and how fucking awful this shit is. Where it feels like even less than at least Power Rangers can fucking hold a plot for 15 minutes.
COH, what were you saying?
It's just like they're making every movie into just a long string of TikToks. Just kind of
that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, it's meant to be like talked about on social media. Like the Marvel movies in particular, they have like a separate, like the directors only direct like the talking scenes. All the action is done by like a boardroom because they want it to be talked about on social media. That's why you see a post every fucking week of like some 14-year-old saying like,
you feel like there's not even like a director making these movies anymore. Like there's like a bunch of guys in black suits like standing behind him like deciding exactly what's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen. It's like, it's really bizarre.
Yeah, well soon it'll be all AI, but it's just even the jokes where it's just kind of like they kind of blend the comedy into it. It's just like some cheap stupid one-liner and it's like just put that into the middle of an action scene.
Because it's like, how the fuck am I supposed to take this seriously? And then it's like, oh, you're supposed to feel bad because someone got shot, and then like 2 minutes later, someone's doing a Fortnite dance.
It's also supposed to be clippable for like marketing, like post marketing.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's part of like how we get into like these gifts and stuff, where like these small like things in media associated with the films actually get bigger than the actual film itself.
Yeah, like the shot of Endgame, like the big like standing. I see that shit get posted by some like 15-year-old. It's like, this is the greatest thing in fucking art of all time, and it's like you don't remember anything else about that movie. That film sucked. Like no one can explain the time travel plot. I mean, I hate to sound like a fucking like contrarian, you know, actually motherfucker, but
I didn't dig that movie either.
I've never seen that movie in my life, but I've seen that scene like 100 times.
Yeah, same. Now, this is how you get the zoomer, like consumer brain, like ADHD, like that. I think that's the thing. I don't think it's like propaganda for anything else. I think that's the thing. And like, you know what always trips me out is like I was checking like the rate of Marvel movies coming out, and like it used to be like one every 3 years or whatever, and then I saw like if you watch the like on Wikipedia, you can see it over the years. Like then it'll be every 2 years, every 1 year, and then 2 a year, 3 a year. and it's just
It was basically when
accelerated.
Disney purchased it, like around 2011, 2012, and then it just sort of rapidly increased, and they were like, they
Star
just
Wars
had like
is
the
doing that,
scheduling.
too.
Yeah,
Right,
I
right.
mean,
and
like,
every
if it
movie is like
wasn't-
advertising the next movie. It's like, oh, at the end of this, now you got to go watch the other one. Like,
Yeah, if it wasn't for
It's like an extension of television almost.
Exactly. Yeah.
right.
Yes, it is.
Right. That's what's funny because you always see like TV, like prestige TV. You're like, all right, so they're trying to emulate movies production, but then
Yeah.
I guess it kind of goes the other way too, where a lot of that's very true. Yeah, the Marvelization thing is very much like trying to make a TV like
Nobody's even
Yeah.
trying to ape anything anymore. It's not like TV's building towards being like this medium that can rival film at someday.
Oh no,
Or, like,
TV's going away.
It's all blurred
it's
together
dying.
now. Like
Yeah,
even like
exactly.
independent movies and like blockbusters and like B movies, it's like all on streaming services, just like thrown in your fucking face, and it's like all like treated like the same thing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
where you
Just
have
like-
to watch it, and if you don't, you're bad. Like with fucking like prestige TV, like Watchmen, and like the other black woman show,
The other black woman show.
Lovecraft County, where it's like
right,
you know, it's
exactly.
this is solving racism, and you have to watch this, or you're not helping.
I had to go to intersectionality trainings for work, and I went to one, and I was like, I'm not going to do that anymore, actually. But I went, and one of the assignments was to watch some Lovecraft County.
Oh,
my
Jesus
God.
Christ!
Jesus.
Yeah, it was
And
pretty.
it's like it's all written by people who hate the source material. Like they don't even like Lovecraft.
exactly.
They
Exactly.
hate Lovecraft. They like the people who made Watchmen didn't like Watchmen. They fucking hate Alan Moore because Alan Moore like despises them.
Alan Moore is like an anarchist or whatever, but he's like an old school anarchist, like
Yeah,
a really
he's cool
like
as shit.
grumpy fucking like you know what I mean? Like he has like that kind of like edge or attitude to him. He's not like a whiny pussy.
Mhm.
Like
And-
shows up once every 2 years and just like insults people publicly, which I can appreciate.
Yeah.
I mean, he called the fucking guy who wrote Watchmen like a whiny bitch, and then just like went back to his house.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
weird.
He's also like I've like read like interviews with people who live near him. He's just like a chill as fuck old guy who like comes out of his house every once in a while to like insult the media and then continue with like not giving a shit about anything. It rocks.
Yeah. I mean, weirdly enough, I liked the Zack Snyder movie, despite him basically turning like a Ann Combs like book into like a Randian porno. Like it just somehow weirdly worked.
It's visually fantastic. Like it's easily
Yeah.
the best. Like
Yeah.
one
I
to
think it's
one
just because like
translation.
the show is like there's nothing transgressive about it at all. Like it's like pretending that it's like sticking it to like power, but it's like it is power. It's like people who
I
judge
mean,
voters
those people were cops. Like
would nod their head along watching that show. Like, yeah, this is correct. Like this is right. But
Well, that's like the entire takeaway of just all the woke stuff,
Yeah.
to be honest.
yeah, I mean, it's like it's contempt for the source material, and then it's also contempt for like being a revolutionary piece of art, where it's like it has like the cultural signifiers of being counterculture or whatever, but it's not.
Right.
It's like it's actually woke that these black women cops are murdering poor white people because they said something mean about they did a hecking no growth, they did a racism.
That's weird. Though. It becomes very circular. Like if they produce these things and then they end up in like HR workshops or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like it's very circular where it's like they're made almost with that end goal in mind. Like that's like where it's supposed to land. Like where else? You know what I mean? Like but yeah, the big thing of like the endless like content production is just like the Netflix, especially during lockdown. Like the consumption of like Netflix and all this shit is just like
The
Netflix.
virus was the best thing to happen to this shit because we got a break from all of it. Like there's no Marvel movie in theaters. There's not going to be one until probably like the end of 2021. Like it's great.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. The thing is that there's so much shit out already that it's kind of like I don't even notice because like fucking like Netflix, like I remember when they were like they did House of Cards and they like ran some algorithm and they're like, oh yeah, okay, the audiences based on what they purchased, they want Fincher directing, Kevin Spacey in a political drama. So they just like from what I read, it was like computer generated that they wanted that, so they did it.
Damn.
that's wonderful.
The
I did
algorithm
not know
housed
that.
on
That's
Little
exciting.
St. James for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did that show, and then they were like, they were telling everybody like, oh, don't worry, this is a Netflix original, but like we're gonna keep it to this. Don't worry, we're not gonna make any more. Like they didn't want to scare all the people they're buying licenses from, obviously. And then now, you saw what happened within the next 5-10 years is like they're making
and it's
nonstop
actually
shit.
Marvel's fault for that. Like Marvel in like I think 2012, like they bought a contract with Netflix where they're like, you have to make like X amount of shows for us, and then all of a sudden every other streaming service like raced to do
that makes sense.
because they had like the Daredevil show, and then they had like the
Yeah.
fucking like Jessica Jones and like
Right.
the Luke, which
I remember
the
those.
Luke Cage show was like so insulting to fucking black people.
Well, it was
I
funny,
never
because
watched
it was
it. I
trying
was
to
like, I'm good.
it was trying to thread the needle of aping blaxploitation, but for like an audience that like does not know how to like comprehend that.
Black people, they don't know how to comprehend black people.
Well, you know what I mean. Like people, people like talk about Django Unchained with like the movie bobs of the world online. You know what I mean? Like it's not
Oh yeah, I mean all those people think that
completely
like
bounced off.
Tarantino is like a racist.
exactly, and that's kind of trying to do like the same genre work, except also like Luke Cage also had like the downside of needing to be I don't know, it just like the genres it was trying to do at the same time.
It was very strange. It was like, and then like the plot was strange, where it was like there's like inner city crime in fucking Harlem. Like there was like organized crime in Harlem, and it's like Harlem is like, you know, pretty gentrified now. Like yeah, there's no I don't think that there's like
Does it like take place like in like modern times?
It takes place in modern times. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's okay.
And
weird.
it was trying to pretend that Harlem was like, you know, like a like it was still like it was in Shaft.
I mean, that's true for like Daredevil too, because like that's in
Yeah.
Hell's Kitchen. It's like Hell's Kitchen's not really
Yeah,
that
there's a
bad
club
either.
there. There's a gay club there. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those Netflix shows getting like exponentially worse.
Mm-hmm. I liked
yeah.
the Daredevil one just because the performances were good, but it did make no fucking sense.
I like the Punisher one because it was like weirdly reactionary. Which like I'm not a reactionary, but like it was just like it's sort of like weirdly refreshing to like put something and be like, oh, this is like kind of poking some buttons. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right, like it's actually kind of transgressive and maybe in some slight
It was like
way.
totally
And
pro
of course
gun.
they pulled the plug on it a season after.
Well, that's what's funny too. Is like, yeah. Now I was talking to you guys about that in the chat. Was like, now all these movies that I liked are fucking reactionary now. Like fucking Matrix is reactionary, Fight Club is reactionary, Goodfellas is reactionary, fucking Taxi Driver is reactionary. That's these are my favorite fucking movies, and they're all fucking reactionary.
And these are all like left wing movies. Like culturally, if you look at them, they work more as a critique of this, you know, the neoliberal order or like the emerging neoliberal order from the left. And then, but because they had like either edgy white protagonists or they did a hacking mass shooting, they become white, like they become white nationalist fucking movies. And then because they become that, then they become that forever in the eyes of the neoliberal order, and they should be destroyed. Anyone who enjoys them is all doing a no, bro.
Yeah, because those movies were like, well, there's something wrong with society. It's like, whoa, you think there's something wrong with society? Are you a fucking right-wing reactionary? Are you racist or something? Like, that's the only way you could find anything wrong with society. Like
we were talking in the Matrix. Like, I mean, Neo wets up a bunch of cops at the end of like,
he said a cob. He literally screamed a cob.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I think one of the issues with like I was in a film program that I gladly dropped out of, that like it's just filled and taught by people that genuinely, and like I mean, I guess just different tastes or whatever, but like genuinely just like love tearing the movies down way more than they actually like enjoy and get joy from fucking anything at all. And so it's like, it's so much. And I think a lot of that probably is just like what kind of discourse is going on in the fucking shitty NPR podcast they listen to. But like, just like the amount of times I need to have conversations with people about how like, did you know that Sala in Raiders of the Lost Ark is just like incredibly racist? And it's like, I don't, that isn't the first thing that comes to my head when I think of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I'm sorry that I was enjoying the movie.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because I'm not a joyless piece of shit. Like,
it's like a deconstructionist take. Like you see, like it's a very popular trend in criticism to do like a deconstructionist look at everything, where you break it down and like here's why it's bad and should be destroyed, instead of like a reconstructionist take where it's like here's how you take the good aspects of the movie and then make it, you know, maybe a little bit better, maybe take some stuff out that didn't age well, but like you still have a love for the finished product.
Well, that's interesting, because that makes me wonder, like back when you guys were talking about the like Watchmen and all these new stories that basically hate the source material. Like, do you think a lot of the woke stuff is to make a new market, right? It's like, it's in media especially, it's to make yourself relevant. You make up foreign imposter syndrome. Like, you need to make up words to make yourself relevant in academia or media or whatever.
Yeah.
So do you think that applies to this, where it's sort of like, all right, we got, you know, let's erase all these old movies, and now we got a market to reboot them. Now we got a demand to reboot them in a way where it's less reactionary or whatever.
I mean, that's what I've like been saying for a while. Like, everybody talks about it like this is like postmodernism or some shit, like that it's like deconstructing everything, but it's like, no, they're reconstructing like a new narrative that can like make them more money. Like, that's what it is. It's like, this is the new true thing, and we're gonna go along with this until there's another new true thing. And that's
like
just what it is.
With
basically.
Watchmen, I think like AT&T literally just like ordered. They needed like a woke superhero show, and they didn't care which source material they had to use to do it. I think like the only reason that Watchmen got popped was because they needed to put out like a Watchmen product. Like I don't know if you guys know like the contract, the weird rights contract that Alan Moore has with Watchmen. But basically, if there's no like Watchmen thing produced for an entire year, or the book goes out of print, then the rights revert to Alan Moore.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Talk about an incentive, a financial incentive. It's crazy.
Right. So Dave Gibbons can't go around town fucking whoring it out for $5.
That's what they were doing like with Fantastic Four for like decades. Like, nobody wants Fantastic Four movies, but they like make them every decade that they can keep, like Fox could hold the rights to it, and then Disney just became like fucking evil and like bought every company.
Yeah.
Right.
Speaking of like we were talking about this in the chat, but like the Disney Fox thing was a really bleak moment on the internet, where you saw people like basically cheering for corporate takeover, and like, you know, probably millions of people like ending up losing their job.
I don't get how they still have copyright over like Mickey Mouse. Like, how the fuck do they hold on to copyright for something that's almost 100 years old?
But for those that don't know, basically, like I think last year, Disney like went through the process of buying Fox, and you had like people on Twitter through like the sort of like woke economy, where it starts with like op-eds and then it funnels down to the check marks, and then the people who, you know, blindly retweet the check marks retweet it, and then you have like pit crews defending it. And it became almost like a no growth to think that Disney buying Fox was bad, because they were doing it for the fans, because, you know, Fox had the rights to the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. And so if you thought that was bad, and that Disney, you know, buying the second largest fucking media company was bad, that was like a negative personality trait.
Wait. They were trying to say that it was not woke.
It was a no growth because. Go ahead.
I mean, they did Black Panther. Like, don't you want the company that you know gave little black kids the ability to see themselves reflected in a superhero?
No way.
Don't you want that? I don't know. I'm just pulling this out of my ass.
No way.
Is that basically the argument?
Pretty much, yeah. It's like that, and then like,
these people are fucking predictable as shit.
Like, you know, you want the rights to come home. Like, you know, it's Disney owns Marvel, and they made a mistake by signing over those rights, you know, all those years ago when they were going bankrupt. It was really like emancipation shit. Yeah,
I was just gonna say we're gonna emancipate Spider-Man.
Exactly. You see that shit because like Sony is the only one that like owns the rights to Spider-Man. I don't like to like get in the middle of like
people are like cheering on them buying Sony too. It's like, what is fucking wrong with these people?
Yeah, Disney was like fucking over Sony with this like insane contract where they're like, you have to give us like unlimited access to the Spider-Man rights for like $30 a month, and then, you know, if you like even think about asking
$30 a month,
it was something insane. It was much more than that, but it was like, I think it was like they were asking for like $3 million for like the unlimited Spider-Man rights, and then Sony doesn't get a cut at the box office, which like I don't care, but like that is a pretty shitty contract if you're a company. And then Sony was like, no, fuck you, like we own these rights legally, like we can, you know, don't fuck us over with this. And so they threatened to remove Spider-Man from like the MCU or whatever, and you had these like, you know, fucking soy freaks that were like, Sony is literally Hitler for doing this. Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Sony is doing a no growth for this. Yeah, it's fucked.
I just don't get like what the incentive is for people that aren't embedded in these corporations. Like what?
It's insane. It's like a lot of people say like, she's not gonna fuck you, but it's like it's literally that, but for like an $8 million corporation. It's like they're not gonna hire you if you defend them online.
When do you think this shit kind of started? Because like I don't even remember Disney being that bad when I was a kid. Like maybe I'm just like blind to it, but it's like
I would say like sort of when the bubble exploded, like sort of after Avengers 1, around the time of Avengers 2, I would say. So like 2014, when you had like
I was gonna say that 2014, the
combination of like early sort of SJW woke scold stuff that was spiraling out of, and I hate to bring up Gamergate, but Gamergate, and where you had that like sort of neoliberal push against Gamergate, and then you had the sort of burgeoning like woke Democrats, where you had your Hillarys of the world that were prepping for their 2016 run. So you had that, and then you had like the HR exec fucking freaks that were like copying that, and then it all just sort of exploded. And and then also you had like fandom being like accepted in like the mainstream sort of through normalizing like that behavior, that like very deranged behavior of like simping for a company became like normal and mainstream because it was like okay to purchase product, and you weren't getting like shoved in a locker for an Iron Man t-shirt.
That is very fucking bizarre to just be like, oh, this merger is woke. Like that's such a weird. I don't even know how to.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, you I didn't see this a lot, but I did see like the occasional take of people being like, because before the merger went through, it looked like Disney was going to end up owning Fox News, and so you had these like fucking like exit.
That would have been funny.
50-year-old women being like, Disney is going to host, they're going to get rid of Fox News and they're going to put Black Panther on like every single hour or whatever like that. It's like we're going to stick it to these racists. It became like a political action.
That's fucking hilarious.
I think one of the things with that just is that like you make all of this fucking woke basically set of social rules, right?
Yes.
You make it just as tangled of a fucking mess as you possibly can, and it's confusing. If everyone can wade into it with no confidence and they're confused all the time, that's great, because then you can justify something that's patently bad with a system of thought that people just don't understand. But like if you wade into this thing you don't understand and you're wrong, people will get mad at you. And so you just go like, oh, okay, well, I don't know. Like, sure, right. I guess it makes sense. Because if I disagree,
it's not worth it. It's not worth the headache.
Yeah, people are going to get mad at me. And you have that happen enough times, you actually start to think that they're getting mad at you for rational reasons. Because it's like people you otherwise would have respected a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of examples of like this shit. Because honestly, to be real, I've kind of unplugged from movies in like the last couple of years. Like I've always loved cinema, but like totally fair. In the last couple of years, I've just been like they've been making me check out. Like I've had some people around me that like still want to go. Hey, let's go to the theater. Let's go. Like so, we'll go to the theater when you still could, obviously. And everything I'd see, I'd just be like, damn, man, this shit sucks. And I'll be like, damn, I'm a pretentious asshole. Like I don't fuck with any of this shit. Like it's fucking garbage. But yeah, like I mean, I'm trying to think of like moments of like. There was the Little Woman thing. There was that, and there was like I don't know if you guys watched Fargo, the show. Yeah, like, I was watching some of the new season. I like the movie and like maybe like the first 2 seasons, but like the last season, like I watched a little bit, and it's like some little black girl like talking about slavery in the beginning, like montage, and I was like, within the first 10 minutes, I'm like, all right, well, I'm not watching this. Like, what the fuck is this? I don't watch Fargo for this. Like, I'm watching Fargo for fucking folksy, stupid, weirdo, like, crime shit, like Coen Brothers shit. Like, what is this? Like, what the fuck is this?
It's definitely more on TV than it is in movies.
Yes.
There's a show called like Madam Secretary that like I visited my mother like I think like a couple months ago, and I like caught her watching it, and in the background there it was literally like the more female like weapons like manufacturers like kind of shit, like Gas Queening that. Like there was like a girl at lunch with like another girl talking about how she's like the head of like a company like that, and like how like it was so great, and like trying to frame it to you in the audience is like this like beautiful thing, and it's like
HBO in particular bad about that shit. Where like I think they had like a girl boss like like murdering their house. Like they had like basically like a Gone Girl ripoff, but it was like explicitly girl boss.
Yeah,
It was like a prestige TV. You just a lot of girl boss shit. I think
the girl on the train and the spider's web
has like a girl boss IDF show now.
I think the only thing I've seen in like recent memory on TV that seemed to be attempting to like kind of push back against a lot of that shit is The Boys on Amazon Prime.
I haven't seen it, but my dad likes it.
It has like a Me Too subplot
comic
in it, but it also like criticizes the woman who decides to like use that to her advantage. So it's like it's very weird, like how like they'll take an issue that you would think it would go one way, but it's like incredibly more nuanced about it, and like it seems like antagonistic to like everybody.
Yeah, I watched the first like half of the first season. It's pretty good. I think I liked that. I remember reading the original comic. Yeah, I have a fucking signed copy of the comic by Derek Robertson. Which is it's pretty sick. But I don't know.
I'm trying to think back like fucking girl boss shit, like Zero Dark 30. I'm trying to remember if there was some of that in there in the marketing.
Oh, 100%. Like that, the fucking, I mean, the Zero Dark 30 straight up just like doing, like rehabilitating that fucking dumb cunt's public profile. The torture queen, not Catherine Bigelow.
Right. Yeah. And fucking Hurt Locker.
Which is also Catherine Bigelow.
Yeah, Hurt Locker is fucking Cameron's wife. Like, there's little bits of that just sprinkled around. Now they got like the Queen's Gambit. You seen that trending these days where like, you gotta watch the Queen's Gambit. You gotta watch that.
The Crown.
It's like a girl boss that plays
rehabilitating Margaret Thatcher now.
yeah. Well, I haven't seen. I saw like one clip of it, so I don't know if that's the stance they're taking. But yeah, I mean,
all I know is they made her hot.
Well, it's Gillian Flynn, right, or whatever the fuck.
Gillian Anderson. Yeah,
Gillian Flynn's the author, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Gone Girl.
They wrote Gone Girl too.
Yeah, and they did that. Speaking of fucking good TV, she wrote the fucking remake of Utopia, which is just complete fucking dog shit. I don't know if you guys ever watched that British show. I think I talked about it with Jack a little bit.
I don't think so. I think I might have heard of it.
Jack from the Perfume Nationalist.
No. Donahue.
Australian Jack, Aussie Jack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jack. Donahue. Yeah.
But good day. Yeah. Well, anyway, if no one's fucking seen it, then never mind. But yeah,
I haven't, sadly.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, dog shit remake, unfortunately, and it's packed full of that shit. It actually is totally packed full of my favorite growing woke trope, which is genius children. Genius children of many different gender and racial identities.
That's been big recently. A few years ago with like Stranger Things and It and shit.
Stranger Things.
To be fair, So like to be fair, like those like still like are like most of the time doing like the Stephen King like, oh, what if a kid said fuck? Like that's kind of fun, right?
Oh my god!
In the 80s, they said like faggot. They didn't just say fuck. They said everything.
Yeah. Like, what if a kid called another kid a faggot, like they do in real life? And like, I kind of like
exactly
that. But like
which trope you're talking about.
No. It's the little black girl talking to the doctor and saying she feels humiliated when you misgender her.
Yeah, I couldn't get into fucking Stranger Things because it was like
that was embarrassing. It felt like it was in like Sesame Street.
Oh yeah,
the black girl like young Sheldon.
Yeah, exactly. It's an infomercial. That's the thing. A lot of these movies and shows are fucking infomercials. They're they're HR vids, and then they end up on the big screen, and then you end up watching them in HR.
Everything made now is like created by people attempting to like portray the world as they want to see it rather than what it actually is. Like if you go to like most 70s films or even 70s all the way to like 2008 maybe, it's like everything was like not everything but like a majority of things were like if they're gonna make a film about like the world, they're gonna try to portray it as it like actually is, and that's kind of part of that whole
hyper-normalization.
Yeah, and that's kind of like that whole thing about Quentin Tarantino where it'd just be like there's a lot of N-word. Like, I don't like that he's using the N-word in these films, and he'll be like, yo, people say the N-word. Like, yo, what do you like, people fucking say that. Like, is this new to you? Like, are you shocked by this? Like,
that was a criticism like of the movie Hostel when that came out is like all the guys in it, like, you know, like they said faggot a lot and stuff like that, and like retard and everything. Like even back in 2005, people were like complaining about that, and like the director's like, but that's just like every boy in every high school, like
Right.
Yeah.
like right now in America. Like I don't know what you expect. Am I supposed to lie? Like they don't talk like that. Like,
bread and butter of comedy for like a couple of years. I mean, they built the entire movie Idiocracy off of that. So
Exactly, yeah. And it's funny.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird, like as time goes on, like how they're gonna sterilize shit, like just real shit, just informative shit about like atrocities or whatever, like how they're gonna like sterilize shit.
Like, there's like several episodes of Boondocks that got like pulled from streaming because they were being racist.
Yeah.
And it's
That's perfect. That's
Everyone who worked
perfect.
on that was black. It's like,
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect because it's like satire. Yeah, he's doing satire. Aaron McGruder, right? Yeah, it's like he's doing satire. It's like, oh well, this satire, this sounds a little too close to the truth. It's like, yeah, no shit. Like, what do you think? Like,
Well, and I think TV is like a more like passive medium, right? And so you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna put some fucking TV on. I'm just gonna fucking just leave my mouth ajar and just dump this content into my yeah, no, exactly. Like I'm gonna veg out and maybe like some of the shit that you're blasting into your skull is gonna kind of stick on the walls of it and you know stay with you. And I think that and so I think that we were talking earlier about like why isn't this same shit in like Marvel movies so much, and you know why is it?
it sort of happened recently. Like, a lot of like Marvel for a while, I guess, like used to have, like it used to be very sort of like passively woke, and now it's gotten sort of like very aggressively woke.
I haven't even necessarily noticed like any of the movies being like aggressively woke or anything. I just think it's just like, no, like that shit is fundamentally alienating to a lot of people, right? And so you have that shit for your minor league teams, right? You have that for your right. And so, you know, you're kind of, you know, I mean, what was it? Even in gaming, right? Like you're not going to have Last of Us 3 right out of the gate. Like you have like 1,000 indie games about being gay and having depression. And then you fucking rewrite everyone's favorite. I don't know. I don't even want to get too off topic here, but like it does just make me think about what we were saying earlier about like Lovecraft Country and Watchmen, where it's like, you know, in the case of like Lovecraft, there is something to the point of like, well, like you do need to contend with the guys.
do you really?
I mean, as someone who's read like as someone who's done the work, as like I've read a decent amount of Lovecraft, and like a lot of the takeaways of a lot of his stories literally are just like these people came to America from bad breeding stock, and like it's fucking weird. It is genuinely weird shit.
timeless.
Like you can you can do it well. Like there's a really good Alan Moore adaptation of a bunch of the
Necronomicon.
Yeah, the Necronomicon, and it's like it deals with his racism in a way that like doesn't belittle his own work and doesn't belittle like the I don't even want to say importance, like sort of the effect.
Well, yeah, I don't know shit about Lovecraft. I mean, I guess I have heard that there's a lot of like bigoted shit or whatever, but like,
I mean, he named his cat like the N-word. That's like a fun, famous little story that everyone shares around.
See, this is the thing though, right? This is the thing, right? Is like you could cancel everybody in history who's made good art.
What I'm saying is that for Lovecraft, it's a little bit, if you read his shit, it is genuinely like a little bit different, where you're like, all right, like it's not a garnish on the outside. It's like
I got you. It's the point. It's a focal point. Yeah.
There's what is it?
But do you think like most people are picking up on that, and like that's what I don't get, because it's like most people aren't picking up on a lot of these like themes that people are like digging into people's work with. Well,
that's what I'm saying, is that it's to the point where it's not a theme. It's like literally just like it's just literally the explanation is eugenics. Like one of his things about his horror is that he was like vocally like a materialist, right? And so Lovecraft like writes magic, but he's like, but there's always some you know way of explaining it, and so you know he's reflecting what he thought would have been an explanation. I bring it up just because like it's a little harder to dismiss than like other works of fiction when people are like, there's a racism problem here. It's like it is a little more difficult, right?
I get you. Yeah.
But to be completely fair, like the best Lovecraft adaptions literally just choose not to do any of it, right? Like The Thing has nothing to do with race, right? Like The Void has nothing to do with race. Like The Color Out of Space has nothing to do with race, right? Like you don't absolutely have to do it, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Like I watched a tiny bit of Lovecraft Country, and it is just kind of like why are you
trying too hard?
Well, just pick something that you actually like, right? Like
right.
Get the
Because
fuck
to me, it
out
seems
of
like you're putting that in someone's head now. Like now they're no longer going to be able to like take in this as like fiction that's interesting on some level. They're always going to now associate it with those like racist ideas, which it's like, I don't know what necessarily is the value of doing that unless like the point is to deconstruct those concepts, but it's like you do that once. You don't do that with every time you approach his material. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it's almost like they like predict that some like Vox video is going to get published on YouTube, being like they did a no growth by adapting Lovecraft, and so they're playing 5D chess and just robbing everyone of joy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I get what you mean, and like I guess I don't know if this is too cerebral, but just being like, well, why don't you just keep it the way it is and let people take it for what it is? Like, this is the context. This guy believed this type of shit, and just factor that in that way. Just absorb the content as it was, but know that this guy's he's twisted. Like, I mean, like this, but that might be too cerebral. I mean, that's too cerebral now because everything's so literal now. So it's like it's hard to like watch something and have a kind of removed take on it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like just the other day, someone was talking about like Blood Meridian, right? Like Cormac McCarthy, and someone was like, oh, it's just a shame that like the book is hindered by his reactionary politics, based around like human nature and being violent and all that. And it's like, motherfucker, like people that look at things that way get to make movies and write books, like, and like that doesn't mean that they're bad. Like art can be
people like that
reactionary.
fucking exist. Like, we need to be able to see their viewpoint as well, and their point of view. Like, it's retarded to be like, oh, anything that I don't like or that isn't exactly like the way that I view the world. If they make a movie that kind of portrays that, it needs to be going away because that's just not safe or no good. It's like, guess what, motherfucker? That doesn't just go away. It's like Trumpism bullshit. Like, just get rid of Trump and that shit goes away and the world's just good again. Like, there's still people who think those ways, and like, it's important to be able to see those viewpoints to understand why do you not think that way, and like understand what you're dealing with.
Yeah, that's why censorship doesn't work. And it's like, it goes back to that HR thing where it's like, art isn't supposed to be something to inform you and teach you to think a certain way. That's not the whole point, but that's how they use it now with everything, with music, with movies, with film and TV, and like, but it's not supposed to be that.
It's meant to be the truth for people, like
exactly.
Now. And it's like, it's not though. It's like,
you're supposed to observe something and like, just observe it for what it is, right? As opposed to being like, oh, there's a lesson in here of how to conduct yourself, right? Or there's some the propaganda thing. It's like, it's not how you're supposed to like absorb art. Like, that's weird. Like,
well, that's the other fucking thing that just like drives me fucking nuts is that like like Blood Meridian is a beautiful novel, right? It's like a work of fucking genius, right? Like just because something at the end of the day like has a philosophy in it that you think is bad doesn't mean that it can't also be like beautiful art. Like Triumph of the Will is like still an accomplishment of fucking filmmaking. Like Birth of a Nation is still really important for fucking film editing.
Yeah, and like critics used to be able to get that. Like they used to be able to understand that. And
right.
It used to be like you can interpret this piece of like text in like a million number of ways, and like there is no one concrete way to evaluate it. And now it's like, no, there is one concrete way to evaluate it, and it's bad. And if you like it, you're bad. And it's like, it's just, I don't know how that happened, like that change or whatever, because it's like, it's the same types of people too, like where that sort of idea kind of shifted. And they try to like juggle both like thought processes, like, and they can't.
It's dark. That's how you get all these fucking NPC lib motherfuckers. Like, that's how you get that. It's just like, there's nothing more they can do than to process things. It's just one track. It's just whatever was fed to them.
It's so fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid because it also just means that like you'll never actually have a past you can look at fondly at all. Like I remember watching some like review by Mark Kermode and him being like, oh, well, like, straw dogs, you know, great film, but of course, you know, now I can't even go back and enjoy it at all because some of the things going on in the film, and it's like, no, like, I mean, you actually can go back and enjoy it. You fucking retard.
I think it was Pauline Kael, and I think she called it back when it came out. She called it like the first like great fascist work of art, but she like acknowledging that it's good. So it's like
right.
She's able to do that. Like she's able to still view it as like this like evil like politics or whatever, but at the same time acknowledge that it has like value as art, and like people just don't do that anymore. Like half like lefty content on like YouTube is like not even about politics anymore. It's like about like fishing through some media that no one remembers anymore from like the 90s and like finding a thing bad about it and like just telling that to like really alienated weirdo teenagers. And it's like, I just don't get the utility in doing that unless you don't care about politics and you just want to like brand yourself.
Yeah. And I think we have to talk a little bit about the Joker thing, because that movie was sort of like I still haven't seen it, but it is sort of like a phenomenon outside of the movie itself. And I mean, obviously we talked, you know, marketing of film, and like that's a big thing in itself, but like that was like a super political movie, like in the marketing and the atmosphere around it. Like it was one of the, you know what I mean? Like, cause other, you know, I don't remember a movie that had that much like clamor about it in terms of like,
basically started its own like section in every major publication, right? Like it was its own article written for it. It was a Joker piece, right?
Right, exactly.
I mean, you had like journalists like basically like begging for a mass shooting, and that's like the most bizarre thing I've ever like had to like watch play out.
Because I guess you have the Aurora shooting, right, where it's Dark Knight and like all that, and you know, obviously Matrix or whatever, like
literally had nothing to do with the Joker.
No, I know, yeah, I mean, well, yeah, exactly, but it just, you know, there's these moments in history or whatever of like Matrix influence, or like, you know, where things are like, you know, but it came retroactively, where it's like, oh, this movie came out and then retroactively like, oh fuck, these kids were fucking, you know, inspired by the movie to do something, or the Aurora shooting, like, you know, something about the movie, you know, maybe not even to do with the movie, but he's there at that movie to do the shooting. And like now this was the one where it was like preemptive, where it was like, all right, well, we're about to see another one of those. And I hadn't really seen that before, but it was like that joke, the whole atmosphere around the Joker was like, anticipating like we're about to get the reactionary, like the shooting go down. I mean, it never happened, obviously.
I remember, I mean, I went to a fucking movie theater and like had to go through a metal detector, and there was a cop there.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
dude,
really?
That shit. And I saw the movie in Aurora.
and you had mad guns.
Totally, dude. Yeah, I was carrying. Just in case some shit went down, you know. The only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
Absolutely. In Minecraft, yeah.
Dude, all I'm saying is, totally. If COH was on one of those planes, things would have gone a lot differently. A
lot more blood up in first class, I'll tell you that much.
God, I always forget about that part of it. Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, like Joker was. I mean, I thought it was good. It was pretty good. Yeah, it was a good movie that was still a comic book movie technically, and so it's not going to be like amazing or anything. But I watched it twice, and the second time through, you're like, okay, yeah, no, like it still has the schlock. And
I think it would have been much better if they just completely removed the whole like Bruce Wayne's like dad fucked him over, and like you're trying to like connect it to that, and it's like just have it be a character study. Like,
yeah, you're like, motherfucker, this ain't canon.
Yeah. It's like if they did like a Batman movie like where Batman grows up and like has to fight him, he would be like in his 60s or 70s.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. Yeah, I didn't watch it strictly off the media hype. I was like, yo, there's too much. Like, it was annoying me. I was like, all right, there's all this talk of like, oh, it's reactionary, it's not reactionary. Like, it was so much that I was like, yo, this is all to get me to watch the movie. And, you know, for that alone, fuck that. I'm not watching this fucking movie.
The funny thing about it is that you're kind of the target demographic of the movie. Like, it's your politics. Like, it doesn't have bad politics. It's basically just like austerity's bad and like poverty fucks people up, you know. I don't know. I liked that it was a comic book movie that like had parts that were genuinely kind of fucked up.
Well, it's because it's part of DC's new line. It's like DC Dark or whatever. So they're going to be making like a handful of these like slightly darker comic movies that aren't particularly geared towards children. And have more.
Like, people complain about that too, but it's like
It's the contrast with
breath
Marvel,
of fresh
right?
air. Like,
Yeah, it's to
I'd
break
rather
away from
do that.
Marvel's like Disney shit. Like, yeah.
Which is definitely the way to play it, right? Because like DC
Totally.
has been a wet fart for most of this time, and I don't know. I mean, I see a similar thing happening with Zack Snyder as like the Star Wars prequels, where people are coming around to like some of his DC work. I think that Watchmen director's cut is a pretty good movie, but I'm not like wild about Snyder, to be honest.
I'm not like as hyped as those people are or whatever, or like thinking he's like a secret genius, but I do think he's interesting at least. I think he doesn't get the credit he deserves because like
I think compared to other people working in the same lane, he's like a bona fide auteur for sure.
yeah, he's not soulless. Like, you can tell it's his movie, which is like something you can't say for a lot of shit that comes out now. Like, you can like
100.
feel his presence behind the camera, which I'd say is
Yeah,
good.
true. That's true. He's got a
100%.
distinct style. Yeah.
And that's honestly, that's my same take on. I saw someone bringing up The Last Jedi again today, being like, The Last Jedi is the only good Star Wars movie, and like those takes are fucking retarded. But I did appreciate that it actually did come across as maybe not necessarily being a movie designed by a committee. I mean, it was retarded.
When I watched it in the theater, I loved it just because it was like making everyone mad. Like, I don't know why. Like they kill the guy that they've been hyping up for the whole first movie, and I literally like just started applauding. Like, me and my friend went and saw it, and we're just like laughing like hysterically at that because we're just like, oh, everybody's like been on Reddit for hours and hours coming up with these theories about this fucking villain, and like they just kill him in like 2 seconds. Like, it's like it doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be completely honest. I think that Rian Johnson is kind of like postmodern a little bit, just in that like all of his movies are like this like overly aware thing where it's just constant subversion. And like in the case of like something like Knives Out, it was like, all right, like you seem like you just.
Was it any good?
It was a good movie. No, but fucking Knives Out, it was good. It is also just one of these movies though where it's like, hey, we're gonna subvert your expectations like every 10 minutes, right? And it's the like, oh, you're being really clever thing, but
Yeah.
like how much is being clever really worth at the end of the day? And so like,
If it doesn't like amount to anything, it's just like, all right, we get it. You're aware of what you're doing.
exactly. And so it's the same way as like Dan Harmon, where like at the end of the day you watch their shit and you're like, this is a highly competent person, but they are never going to build something new and worthwhile, you know? Like
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
they're not going to build a great cathedral because they're too busy like critiquing other cathedrals.
True reaction. Yeah, it's much of a reaction. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the David Foster Wallace thing of just like everything's cynical and referencing other shit, and so
Right.
it's pointless.
Right. Yeah. I think the other thing, yeah. Well, yeah. The Joker, the marketing shit. I feel like that's another big topic that we should talk about because like that shit. Well, you kind of see that everywhere with every industry is like the marketing kind of overpowering the content of whatever is being sold itself. Right. Like taking up more of the budget and all that. And I think the biggest thing was like the most recent. Well, Joker was one of them. And more recent one was Uncut Gems. That was the last movie I saw in theaters.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you too. Kodak, you too, right?
Yeah. I took my mom to go see it.
That was the last film I saw in theaters as well.
I don't know if it was
Yeah,
that
yeah.
or Star Wars. It was either that or the last Star Wars. I felt like obligated to watch the last one because like I've seen all the others, so I was like, fine, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I think I was at like Christmas with my fam. I think that's when it came out. I forget when, but like my brother was like, "Yo, we gotta watch this. This is crazy. It's A24." And I'm like, I'd never heard of it. I've been tuned out. I don't know what the fuck's going on. So I go
I think
in.
that was the first A24 film I saw in theaters as well.
Yeah. And I went in and I was just like, damn, this shit's kind of whack, bro. I didn't really like it. I mean, to me, it was just
I
kind of
like it, but I can see why you wouldn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it. I don't like the A24 marketing. But
I just liked that it was a movie that was
Yeah.
basically like an anxiety attack the entire
Yes.
movie. Like,
Yeah.
and like
The fucking-
you had audience members you could like watch if you went and saw it. Like, I feel like everybody saw at least like one person walk out while watching.
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Like single shot,
Yep.
right?
I
I
saw,
saw like a
it.
grandma and her like husband like getting up like, we're done, sweetie, we're done with this one, and like they just
Yeah.
laughed and it was like,
I saw the
Yeah.
exact same thing. It was literally like this old couple. I think they were getting like a Sandler comedy film. They like that's what they thought they were getting.
Yeah.
Like, no.
I thought this was Gilmore 2, Happy Gilmore 2 or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
No, it's
Billy Madison gets a gambling addiction.
yeah.
Dude, that fucking movie's sound design specifically is just so fucking good, man. Like, it's just a constant. There's just constant
sounds.
I know it's from the very beginning, even on like the work site, right? With like the dudes in Africa, and there's just yelling all over the fucking place, and it's
the
just,
motherfucker got like his leg broke and shit. Yeah,
right. Like people screaming at each other in different languages, and someone's fucking leg is broken, and like it's basically that for the whole movie. I didn't like it quite as much as Good Time, but I really
Good Time's better, I think.
yeah.
No, I do.
Good Time's better because like I know people like that. And they don't
try
make
to like
movies about
cancel
like
Good Time.
Why?
Because in the movie, like the black girl is like underage and
Yeah, but he's a shitty person. That's the point.
yeah, but people tried to cancel the fucking child prostitute and taxi driver, even though it's portrayed as a bad thing.
Right. Oh my god, I forgot about that shit. That shit was insane.
Wait, they didn't try to cancel one of the Safdies for just literally acting like a retarded person for the entire movie.
Fuck, I forgot about that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like they're all. It's cool. It's cool. I mean, there's not like
I like the weird aesthetic that the Safdies have, where it's like one part Jewish, one part like 70s Italian film, and then like one part like slick, like fucking New York crime movie.
It's like that giallo thing going on.
Exactly.
It's like sickly sweet, and that was actually kind of like what I thought. I think their aesthetic like is kind of what I got thematically at a Good Time too, which is like the character's motivation. He's a shitty person, but he's trying to help his brother, and so it's like so much of a good thing. Like the colors, the kind of neon colors are kind of washed out, and it's like this syrupy kind of like fucking sweet until it's sick thing that I kind of like.
Yeah, that's why
the excess of uncut gems as well.
Yeah, that's why I didn't. That's honestly why I didn't like it, because I felt like it was more aesthetic than substance. And like to me, the moment when like Adam Sandler started like crying, being like, "I'm so fucked up," he was not doing well. And I was just like, all right, this shit is like, look, the whole adrenaline spike thing through the whole thing. Like, I get that, but it's like, and you know, they nailed it, whatever. But like, it seemed so empty and cheap. I was just like, it seemed so random. It was just like, it was adrenaline for adrenaline's sake. And I was just like, I don't know, man. I can't feel this shit. Like, I don't know. It was whatever.
I mean, well, it's about addiction, right? And it's a critique of capitalism, right? But I honestly, to be honest, the critique
Kevin Garnett, bro.
It's such an autistic like little period piece because it's oddly specific. Like it's like a 2014 period piece that came out in like fucking 2019.
I think it was 2012 actually, which like made me like feel weird.
Yeah.
The reason like watching it is like I remember that
they've all got like they're like sexting on the iPhone 4 and shit.
Yeah, and like the Weeknd's playing at like a club, and it's like his early shit, and it's like it's weird. I don't know.
Well, what do you think? What were you thinking about A24 marketing? Because like I like First Reformed and like you know.
Same.
Yeah, I Pitchfork for movies.
Yeah,
right. Pitchfork for movies.
Well,
right.
Yeah, what we said it's Hypebeast. It's Hypebeast fucking film. Exactly. It's like
new film just dropped. New film just dropped. New trailer just dropped.
They have like pop up shops for their movies.
That's
and
insane.
Like they do like streetwear and shit. And it's like it's. I mean. They're all like I think it's because all the people that are in charge of like the higher ups are all like ex MTV execs, so that's sort of why it's like very.
Like Ari Aster, like the guy that made Hereditary, like he feels like he was made in like a lab. Like to me, like he doesn't in his movies too. Like they feel like they're perfectly like manufactured to be a specific way that's going to attract a specific group of people, and like people that think that they're like above the movies that they're watching or whatever. You know what I mean? Like Hereditary is like a horror movie that it's like good. I'm not gonna like completely shit on it like some people do, but it's hard to explain exactly what I'm trying to get at. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a horror. It's Rosemary's Baby if it was written by Jonathan Franzen. Like that was my immediate takeaway from it, is that it's doing the dysfunctional family stuff.
It's like a lot of like late 60s 70s like drama horror movies. Like Don't Look Now is another one that it's clearly taking a bit from. It just feels like he's only watched like 5 like critically acclaimed horror movies, and like that's what he's doing. Like he's just referencing those and like making that his whole like shtick. I don't know. I found it more funny than anything. Everybody was like horrified by that movie, but like it had like comedy editing. Like when the mother like like when her kid dies and she just keeps crying and it just keeps cutting to new locations where she's crying. I'm like, this is like a comedy scene. Am I
Or
supposed
like
to
when
be
she
emotional?
lights her husband on fire.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was like intentional. If it was, like, good on him. But like, I just didn't know what to feel when I was watching that movie.
Yeah, I'm like looking at all the movies made by A24. Right.
Their early
now.
stuff was like interesting.
I mean, I'll be honest. Like,
Spring Breakers.
Spring Breakers rocks, but I think like after like the early 2010s, that they just kind of, I don't know. I don't know.
I'll be honest. What
It was incoherent as fuck, but it was fun.
I really like Lighthouse a lot. I think that there's a lot of stuff on here that I do genuinely like, even like later on. There's the stuff that I'm a little cooler on. I wasn't.
It's not really the movies themselves. It's more the way that they're sort of framed as like, we are saving cinema, as if like they're doing something new or like heroic with like the way that they produce. But it's like they're not. They're just kind of producing the same kind of indie movies that like Netflix would be producing, relatively better directors, and they're marketing it in a way that seems cool.
Wait a minute.
I don't know.
Wait a minute.
Netflix gave a shit.
Right, exactly, right.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. They made Pod Save America?
I want that shit to come out. What?
They made Pod Save America?
I can't tell if you're joking, but no, they didn't.
I'm looking at A24 on Wikipedia. The independent
Pod Save America is like Crooked Media.
Yeah. But they're saying it's listed the television programs. If you go to the list, Pod Save America is there. 2018.
Oh, they produced the TV special.
Oh no.
Okay. That's okay. Well, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, yeah.
I'm hyped for some of the upcoming A24 films. The Green Knight looks good. Saint Maud looks fine. Like this looks like
who's the director of Green Knight again? I like that guy.
It's fucking shit.
David Lowery. David Lowery.
Yes.
He did Pete's Dragon and Ghost Story, and I thought Ghost Story was fucking, for a movie that I would typically say is doing the A24. I mean, it's got a funny
he's got some
ratio.
sick facial hair.
Really great score too. Ghost Story.
It does have a great score, and it's got fucking
think
Rooney Mara eating an entire pie.
Wikipedia page.
I'm looking it up.
He's wearing like a button-up collarless shirt. He's bald, and he's got a fucking. He looks like a character from The Lighthouse. A24 films. The Green Knight character from The Lighthouse.
He looks like a Billy Corgan body double.
Yeah, he directed The Old Man and the Gun, which looks fun. I didn't see it, but I like Robert Redford and I like heist movies.
That was I think that was my favorite film of that year. I don't know what else came out in 2018. Old Man and the Gun is like
Affleck.
Old Man and the Gun was like fun. It was just good fun.
I'm seeing they did A24 did The Lobster. I like that one.
I like that we kind of started this expecting to be kind of like critical of A24, and now we're kind of like, all right, this is kind of good.
Yeah.
It's not the movies. The movies are.
We're about to go line up at one of their
it's-
pop-up shops.
Yeah.
Mask on and everything. A24 mask.
Give us
ready
the
to go.
check,
Honestly,
bro.
Honestly, the merch look like some of the merch looks fine. It's just like it's annoying as fuck. It's like all right, here's 30 of them and they each cost $500. And it's like at this point I'm just waiting for the Chinese bootleg of A24 merch to come out so I can buy like a $28 fucking coffee book instead of a $500 one.
Right.
Yeah.
They did Moonlight and Disaster Artist. All right, yeah.
Under the Skin's pretty good too when they did that.
Oh yeah, I've been meaning to watch that. Yeah.
Because Under the Skin,
titties in it.
Did they do House that Jack built?
I don't believe so.
I think that was Netflix.
No, that wasn't. That was fuck. Like Canal? No,
that was.
It wasn't A24, I believe.
Oh, it was a foreign company, so it doesn't matter.
Some of this Euro trash bullshit.
Yeah, like they're selling I'm going to the A24 merch store right now. They're selling a blanket for $120. Like fuck that.
They have a brick
A blanket?
that says
Why?
A24.
So you can cuddle up and watch their like not scary horror movies.
It's an aspect ratio blanket. You'll love that.
I love with your
all right.
boyfriend and dream about killing him like in Midsummer.
Yeah, they've got a literally like it's like a fuckboy like Tommy Hilfiger like fleece jacket.
This is like if Brockhampton was a production company.
All right, okay. All right, I don't want to talk about them too much. All right, they got enough free airtime off of us. What about
the Brockhampton
I
film?
was just talking about Brockhampton on Twitter with a motherfucker.
All right. So, what were some recent movies you guys seen that were good instead of us just hating on shit on cinema? Whatever.
Everything sucks.
Culture
Came out
sucks.
this year.
Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't have to be in the recently. Just Yeah,
That was
Friendly Reform
pretty
is
good.
dope. All right, what about? It doesn't have to be movies that came out recently. Just whatever you've seen from whatever year recently that was good that left an impression on you.
How the fuck do I sort my letterbox by like last fucking dude? I watched a bunch of the James Bond movies recently. Had to pour one out for my boy Sean Connery. This shit rocks.
Oh yeah,
Hell yeah, dude.
I watched all of them like a fucking lunatic in September.
That rocks.
Yeah, I went through
I saw
all of
your
them.
reviews of them. I fucking love that shit.
Yeah, I started like writing like barely anything, and then it just became like fucking like borderline essays, and I was like, what am I doing with my life right now? I'm talking about like a shitty James Bond movie from the 80s.
I mean, I don't know. I watched fucking the new Color Out of Space, and I
looks
really
good.
liked that a lot, actually.
I had fun watching that. That movie's fun. It's good to get like drunk with people and watch that.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, okay. Now I'm in the real shit. I'm looking at 2019 releases. I'm seeing. I remember The Laundromat was a rare example of a good Netflix movie.
Did any of you see Dragged Across Concrete though?
No, but it
fuck
looks
yeah,
cool as
dude.
shit.
Fuck
I
yeah,
watched-
dude.
This isn't a new movie, but I watched Sorcerer.
That was another
for the
thing that
first
had a lot
time.
of controversy around it. Like
And that
everybody was
shit went
calling that like a
crazy.
MAGA movie. Do you remember that?
What was that?
Everyone was calling that like a MAGA movie.
Yeah.
It was like the director's like, I don't know if he's pro-Trump, but he's like something.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, like to be
Mel
honest,
Gibson.
that guy, and then a lot of the cast, and then the writer. I don't know if it was a writer director, but I thought it's like the same group as like Bone Tomahawk and Wind River and like Hell or High Water. It's like it's like little clones of Clint Eastwood. It's like the Republicans making movies still. I feel like, and they make like good fucking movies. Like
They
Hell or
make
High
really
Water,
good
fucking-
movies. Yeah.
They make such fucking good movies. Hell or High Water is like a good fucking movie about class.
Bone Tomahawk is like The Searchers like mixed with Cannibal Holocaust. Like it's fucking insane, that movie.
Yes.
Damn, I gotta start watching new movies.
You should genuinely seriously watch Bone Tomahawk. It fucking rips.
they sound good as well. I'm looking at everything I watched recently, and it's all
But I
like
can see how someone would think it's like
Old as
racist
fuck.
because it like portrays like Native Americans as like a cannibal tribe in the mountains that like cut you in half.
Right. Well, they have some little throwaway line in the beginning, and that's the only thing they do to justify it. Is my favorite
Yeah,
part.
they're like, these are a different tribe. Like they're a rare tribe.
Don't they call them troglodytes? I think
so.
literally-
Yeah.
I did a media analysis class in school that was straight up, I mean, just like a brainwashing factory, and I did a report on Bone Tomahawk, which was basically me just writing a paper about how actually it isn't racist, and I didn't really make a very good case. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna fucking.
I love writing shit like that. I want to do an essay on how Chasing Amy is woke. Actually,
Do you guys
I
see
don't know
Richard
how you
Jewell?
could do that. That movie, like even when I saw it back in like the early 2000s, I was like, this is ridiculous. This plot.
it's
Kevin Smith is just a little fucking slug, anyways.
He sucks so bad, but his fucking 90s movies are some of my favorite films of all time. Like, I wish he never smoked weed and started using Twitter, because he just got so bad at doing everything. Like, right after fucking, like, he had like a string of good ass. I fuck with Dogma, I fuck with the original Clerks, I fuck with Mallrats, and then everything after.
I mean, I
that,
like
all this
Clerks too, to
shitty
be
stuff.
honest. Like, I think it's pretty good.
I've never seen Clerks 2.
To be totally honest, the only movie out of all those that I've revisited that I thought actually aged well was Dogma. Like, I honestly, I went back to see Clerks like 2 years ago, and I was like, this is like horseshit to me.
Chasing
and I don't
Amy
know-
is in my top
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
Clerks
Yeah,
just like reminds me of shit like Pink Flamingos and stuff like that, where it's just like anybody
Yeah.
could make a movie. Was like kind of the idea.
Yeah, it's like that early what is it? Fucking who's the fucking guy who worked with Tarantino? The Mexican guy.
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez?
Yeah,
I mean, he's in
Rodriguez.
fucking Star Wars now. He just directed the newest episode of Mandalorian.
It's kind of crazy. Like the 90s and like the
Yeah.
2000s was like just mostly like a escalation of like shock culture, like Gen Xers just making like the most ridiculous shit you can think of, and then they all just kind of became like old and like really embarrassed about it, and like now they don't do any of that anymore.
You know, I will say,
Tarantino,
I
who,
will
like,
say
doubles down on all of it.
I posted the other day about how like the 90s sucks, and you disagree with me, but I will concede like 90s music videos and shit like that. Like there was some cool fucking shit there.
Yeah,
that
dude, I
would
started to
definitely-
come. I used to be very anti like 90s and 2000s as like an aesthetic that should be revisited ever. because I thought it was cringe. But I've come around on both. I came around on the 90s, and I'm coming around on the 2000s.
The 2000s, really? Whoa, that's crazy. That was some dark shit. That was bleak. The 2000s was bleak to me.
I mean, I'll stand by that first Strokes album for sure.
I mean, I like the Strokes in general. Like, I mean, so I even like their bad album.
I fuck with some Creed.
I don't know about like later Strokes, but like first two albums, maybe
Did you
three.
hear their new album though? Like most people think it's like their second best album.
I actually haven't listened to it. Is it
It's
worth
pretty
checking
damn
out?
good. I think it's pretty good. Like I think if you don't like any of the stuff that came out after the first one, I think you'll be like, oh, this is like a nice return to form, pretty much.
I've been getting into like some
Okay,
2000s like fucking R&B and like electronic and shit like that. Like I fuck with Moby. Yeah.
Moby.
Moby, yeah.
Nobody listens to techno Eminem song.
No, speaking of fucking good music videos, is that a thing that people do anymore? Like exciting film directors getting their like break by doing some random fucking music video? Like I remember,
No, not really.
Not really. I think
a
like the guy who did Baby Driver did a bunch of music videos for a while. Like that was sort of like he did like
Edgar Wright.
Yeah, Edgar Wright did like a bunch of fucking music videos, but then I think he'd also done movies at the time.
Well, that's like Spike Jonze also, right? Like fucking all the
Michael
like,
Bay, Zack Snyder, all those guys came out of music videos.
Really?
Did Michael Bay come out of music videos?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and he did
wild.
Got Milk commercials too.
Oh shit! Like a fucking
all those, like, 90s
a
Got
child
Milk
gets killed. A child gets an Iraqi child gets killed in an airstrike, and then Alex Trebek shows up with a milk mustache.
Yeah, all those Got Milk ads of like, you know, bitches like covered in milk and being like, yeah, get like us. That was all him.
I don't care. Michael Bay rocks. Like he doesn't give a fuck. He
I
just
watched The
doesn't
Rock
care.
for the first time this year, and it was insane.
The Rock is fun.
I don't hate his Transformers movies. They're like the aesthetic is ugly, but
They're just like really loud and like angry movies.
yeah,
Which I like really appreciate.
It's like a good characterization. I fuck with some Optimus Prime. Every once in a while, I'm like, damn, I want to watch an Optimus Prime.
I thought
that shit
that.
goes.
I honestly thought that the reboot they did after him, Bumblebee, was.
Yeah, Bumblebee's not bad.
I know. I was just gonna say I genuinely liked Bumblebee. Like the first post Michael Bay Transformers movie. I definitely enjoyed quite a bit. It's kind of just
With
aping
the first three, the original trilogy with Shia, I fuck with, but when you get into the Marky Mark, it starts going like super downhill. And let's be fair, the movies are garbage to begin with. But
Yeah.
There's a whole
I actually enjoy
subplot
them.
in the Marky Mark ones about like
garbage
his
to begin with. But
there's
like,
a whole
I actually enjoy
subplot
them.
in the Marky Mark ones about like the
Age of
Mark
consent.
Wahlberg's daughter.
No, so true,
The
dude.
only thing I know
Her
about that
boyfriend's
is
like
that-
this Romeo Juliet loss here, bro.
Yeah, he's
Okay,
got like
like-
a card. He's got like a fucking American Psycho ass card of like
He has
fucking
Dune buggy.
yeah. This shit rocks.
Oh man, yeah. I think Bumblebee was fun because it was like kind of doing like a weird. I don't know. I mean, I can't believe I'm about to say this because it gets done so much, but it actually did the John Hughes thing and was kind of charming in it.
I've never seen it. I have to check it out. It looks. I mean, I fuck with like the G1 era, like Transformers aesthetic. So, and then when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, cool. They're like going back to that.
Yeah, it's literally just like, I mean, they just do like, it's set in the 80s and it's like a teen coming of age story, but like
It's
her
like a
first,
Steven Spielberg movie.
yeah, exactly, and it's like
It's Schindler's List
like
with
her-
Transformers.
yeah, no, exactly, like the cattle car that they
Yeah.
take to
Don't
the
they have
camp.
it, like,
the
isn't-
Transformer.
Don't they have a World War II flashback in one of the Transformers movies? I swear to God that happens in one of them.
They have like a million flashbacks
It's in
in
like
those
the
movies
fourth or
where,
fifth one.
where the
Yeah, I think it's in
Transformers
one
are
of the
like
Marky
involved
Mark
in
ones.
every historical event ever, which is
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, they
like the
did King Arthur.
Crusades.
They were on the moon
Yeah.
and we landed there. Like this is great.
Yeah, the King Arthur bullshit and like the World War II stuff, it was just nuts. I mean, obviously the whole thing's nuts, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I respect the weird, like almost Hotep ideology of the Transformers.
That's what
Yeah,
it is,
pretty much,
isn't it?
yeah.
It's very similar to like the National Secret films where it's like American Hotep.
Yeah, dude, Wiki mean, bro?
Well, how do you mean that? How do you mean that? What do
Like
you mean?
it's like it's like a, we secretly like in National Treasure, it's always like the founding fathers were like secretly hiding gold for like the most woke, the most like perfect Democrat of all time to like find it or whatever. And
Everything is Assassin's Creed now.
exactly.
Yeah, like what if all of history was science fiction? And yeah, it's Dan Brown. It's the Dan Brownification.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking shit. It's your fucking dad reading this fucking book he's 30 pages into at Thanksgiving.
Man, I remember being 14 and reading the Da Vinci Code for the first time. I was like, Jesus fuck. And I was like, holy shit.
Man, you heard about this fucking Illuminati?
Yeah.
That shit ain't right, man.
They got fucking secret pictures in the Mona Lisa.
Dude, if you think about it, the Illuminati is the original trigonometry.
Yeah. Oh man, the old black guy reading a Dan Brown novel wrong. Like, hold up, you were saying the Holy Grail is pussy?
Just
Because that's what it was, right? It was like the Holy Grail.
That's what it
It's
was.
the
Like, you
Christ
said that like really
bloodline.
earnestly. Like that's what it was, right, man?
Man, you saying he died for a piece of poontang? But listen, it sounds like maybe we should wrap up here.
Yeah, it's
sure.
been pretty long.
It's been great though. I've had a lot of fun. It's probably
Yeah,
like
it's been
the
fun.
longest podcast, but the most fun podcast I've ever done.
Yeah, some people dipped, man. Where'd it go?
I was gonna say, I don't
We're alienating people with our like Italian like slasher movie talk and like
Exactly. Kevin Smith defense and
yeah, all this.
Well, I'll say on that note too, it has been nothing but I mean, it's been great lately, but it's been nothing but the most dry, nothing but fucking politics. There's no escape from the black hole that is politics, and so this has been fantastic.
Yeah.
yeah. If you
Yeah,
ever need like another politics break, I mean, I'm sure I don't have anything going on. And,
Yeah, same here, brother.
It's almost like we're all locked in our homes, but
Pretty much. Yeah.
much to think about.
yeah, but yeah, no, it was great to talk to you guys, and yeah, I was just gonna say, anytime you guys want to come back on, just shoot the shit about whatever new bullshit movie comes out. I'd love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have a movie Bob take that we can go through. He'll say the 14 words or something.
I am always down, probably to a fault, always down to talk movie, Bob.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's a
we can
really
do an entire
fascinating
movie Bob deep
cultural
dive.
artifact.
We'll do a retrospect. We'll read old posts.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, I'm hopping off here then.
All right, you guys have a good day or night,
Yeah.
I
You
guess.
too. Good night. Peace.
Night.
Take care.